What's up and welcome to Champions of Lore, a show about all the kick-ass stories behind some of Idle Champions' coolest campaigns and characters. Every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on twitch.tv/CNE Games, or later on your favorite podcast service, B. Dave Walters and Erin M. Evans talk about all the Idle Champions lore that's fun to know about. If you're here that's live in the chat, you can leave a question that I, Treavor Bettis, will ask them later in the show, but until then, Erin, B. Dave, take it away while I make sure that everyone can hear us.
Hi, I'm Erin M. Evans. I'm the author of the Brimstone Angels saga, a 6-book series set in the Forgotten Realms, featuring 3 of our favorite Idle Champions, Frida, Havilar, and Mahen. I'm also a content designer for Idle Champions. I play Cecilia on Dungeon Scrawlers.
And now you've played Havilar and Frida.
That's right!
That is true.
It's true.
Hello, I am TV's B. Dave Walters.
It's never going to get old. I swear it's never going to get old.
It's not. It's objectively true.
It is.
I say words about things. You can find me all over the interwebs, wherever fine streaming content can be located, including the Idle Champions Presents, which just wrapped, Black Dice Society, which is on season break, an Invitation to Party Fridays on G4.
Yeah.
And I am a Tarrasque aficionado. Apparently, I am the actual keeper of the Tarrasque in continuity, but I'm explaining what I mean.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so we're here to talk about the Chunky Boy himself.
Chunky.
Yeah. We talk a lot about a lot chunky people, and we love them.
D&D is heavy with chunky folk, like chunky monsters.
Heavy with chunk.
I mean,
again,
look.
Yeah, there she is.
There she is.
I was gonna go get mine, but it's easier if you just bring her over. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
God,
Tense your core.
I realize. I realize this is for audio listeners. I'm holding up the giant Tiamat. This is heavier than my cat.
Wow.
Yeah, Tiamat officially heavier than a 1-year-old cat.
I mean, she's heavier than a lot of dogs. So here's sorry, audio listeners, again. If you can tell, readers, right across here, the night right after they fought Tiamat on Friday, I was walking by and one of her claw wings scratched me across my stomach. She drew first blood, like she has been appeased. Actually, I hope it's a scar, because somebody's like, "What is that?" I'd be like, sick. Tiamat hath blessed me.
That would be sick.
Yeah,
Love it.
We're not sponsored by WizKids, though. You know, if you want to,
No.
you send me free stuff whenever you want. They're doing a Tarrasque this size.
Ooh.
I'm terrified because, like, you know, Tiamat wide with the wingspan. Tarrasque's pretty tall.
Yeah.
I'm concerned. I have concerns.
She's I used to work at a casino, and there were a ton of people from all over the world, and when a lot of them are regulars, so they get used to, and when they were trying to tell me that I was too tall, they would say, "You're too much big, man." That's what they tell me. They'd be like, "You're too much big."
I like that.
And when I was fighting to get Tiamat onto my not insignificant display case, I was like, "You're too much big, Tiamat." Right. And then she wing clawed me, and I was like, "Well, okay, right, we're okay, fine."
Oh well. Yeah, well, I'm being told I messed up something on the on the stream, which is weird because I thought I saved settings. But anywho,
Can people hear us?
yeah, no, they can hear us. It's just
Right.
it's just background stuff.
Okay.
So, but before, so we're gonna talk about the Tarrasque, but I thought before that it'd be fun to talk about the finale, because I mean we've done a recap of all of them. We're not gonna do a Havilar recap.
That's good, because I couldn't even tell you what happened.
But I thought it'd be fun to at least talk about Idle
Chaos!
Champions Presents.
So I would. Here's the thing. The thing. If I might intervene, I do not expect Havilar to have a complete recap of what happened, because it's true. The correct answer is what didn't happen.
Right?
But I would like to know whatever Havilar has to say about what did happen.
Also,
Okay.
someone's saying that your audio is low.
Well, see, this is what we were talking about yesterday. When I was like fighting with the.
Yeah, I know.
There we go. How about now?
Ooh,
Am I
That's
good now?
better.
Ooh, that's a good
But
one.
or is that too loud?
Yeah, it's fine. I can fix it in
Right.
post.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. We reach a point, you know what I mean, where she starts peaking. So
Yep.
there we go. All right.
But yeah. So the last episode, Trials Mount Tiamat, was absolutely wild. How was that for you two? I mean, like, being if you had to run 15 people, I will say there's gonna be a lot of spoilers here. So if you want to like mute it for like 5-10 minutes, something like that, Well, I'll give you 2 thumbs up when you're good.
We'll give you both barrels. Sorry, audio listeners, you just have to endure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
the
I'll put a
skip
time
button.
code. Maybe I'll put a time
It's
code.
true.
Skip it.
It's true. I'm only stalling so while Erin has time to queue up a Havilar recap. But we were planning from the beginning that this was going to happen, that it was going to be this 15-person free-for-all. Groups 1 and groups 2 did not know this until the day of, or slightly before. They knew the 2 groups combined were going to fight Tiamat, but not that they'd have help. And the whole adventures leading up to it, it was 2 sets of missions in parallel, which again, Havilar has brilliantly recapped for us up until now, where they just got beat to hell the whole time. And so they were all beaten and worn out before, especially if you don't play D&D. Tiamat's one of arguably the most powerful adversaries you can fight. So they were like, we don't have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew, I was like, I didn't want them to feel like utterly hopeless. So I was like, you guys are going to get some help. It's going to be all right. And then we got in there, and when the 3rd group showed up, and it was all 15 of them, it was an honest to goodness fight. I did it by the book. I mean, to the moment they finally brought her down, and we got a really what I thought was a nice bittersweet ending.
Yeah.
To the fight.
You made everybody conflicted about killing. Well, not everybody, but enough
that.
people were conflicted.
The fact that, like, I mean, one, it was cool. Bailoff got the killing blow, but the fact that you had her like slump into Penelope just after the whole front, heartbreaking. I loved it.
You know, Hope went with the emotion. Well, at first it was Todd went with the, like, you know, emotional damage play, and it just kind of was like, I will spend my last moment on this plane eating you in particular, Abram. And then Hope went with the emotion play for Penelope, and I was like, oh, we're doing the emotion play. And I thought there was a non-zero chance that Minsk was going to behead her right then. I really did.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fully prepared to play that out if she kind of had her second. And then, but I really enjoyed the way it came out. But if we, again, knowing this is not a detailed recap because it was bananas.
Also, I'm not on the same plane anymore, so I think I get a bye here.
That is fair.
That is true.
The recap would only go up to a certain point.
That is true.
Here's what I remember. First, we got to the top, and there was the other group there too. And then we fought Tiamat. I don't remember everything that happened. The red head got smashed. I smashed up the green head. I smashed up a head. I did a really good job hitting it with my glaive, but also I forgot I could hit it one more time, but that's okay. And then she breathed cold on everybody, and I died. And I saw the Raven Queen again.
The eye roll.
Anyway, so and Shaka also saw her, maybe then, maybe later. Shaka did not want to take the Wand of Orcus. And then there was just a lot of dying. and then Lathander showed up with some new people, which was Evelyn, who is she's not an angel, but she seems awful close. And she has a friend Strix, who's also a tiefling, who's like, I don't know. I think I would be friends with her. She's also very messy. She's very good friends with Evelyn. And then Vlanya showed up, and Vlanya is amazing, and she's a gorgeous rock star. And Walnut showed up, and Walnut and Penelope are now best friends because they both like to turn into mammoths and wear shrubs. They're twinsies, but not real twinsies. And I'm forgetting one more person. Melf. I almost forgot Melf, and that would be tragic because Melf was, I think, one of the nicest people to me in that whole business. So anyway, they showed up, and Lathander showed up with his cheekbones, and he went, bah, 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 and we all got back up, and we were super charged and very powerful. And I had this amazing warrior outfit that I think had less to do with Lathander and more to do with Nanison, but that's okay, because if I had dressed like Lathander, I wouldn't have even known what it was. So everybody did some stuff. Like I said, there was mammoths. Walnut turned into a mammoth, and Penelope had turned into a mammoth. And Brig got around, snuck around the back, which turned out to be very smart because you can't breathe your breath weapon out the back of your head. Averin turned into a statue and like exploded her head, but also exploded him some. And then there was some singing, and there was an angel, and Evelyn told it to said, "Daddy, that one," and it went after Tiamat. And then it was some living parts where I think people were stopping time. I got to hit her again with like, this is really satisfying, guys. I like being super strong and having super fast extra hits because I chomped her up, and I would have done it again really, 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 really good. But something happened, which was that the Raven Queen came back. Also, right before the Raven Queen came back for me, Bela called her and said, "Hey, do you want to give me the Wand of Orcus instead? Because I am totally fine with the moral implications of wielding that. I am excited for them."
That checks out.
And so she said, "Sure, why not?" I don't know why she had the Wand of Orcus. Maybe somebody left something over at someone's house. But anyway.
I appreciate that that's his hoodie.
That's his hoodie. That's his Nightmare Before Christmas hoodie.
Just mine now.
Yeah.
But then the Raven Queen came to talk to me again, and I should have seen this coming because it turns out that was the thing that was making my brain explode, was Tiamat making the world explode. And she bit Averin in half, and she bit Minx's head off, and I was really freaking out a little because I like those guys. And the Raven Queen said, "I'll wind it back and let you try again, but not you. You have to come with me." And I didn't want to do that, but I also knew I had to do that because there wasn't a good way to fix the exploding. And sometimes I get to make the tragic martyr choice, Farida. Sometimes it gets to be me. So I went with the Raven Queen, but Melf saw it happening and he was like, "No." And he tried to jump in front of me, which was really nice. And I appreciated that Melf was paying attention to the fact that I was about to sacrifice myself for everybody. But the Raven Queen was like, "No, not today, hero." And then Whittle tried to make a bargain and it didn't work. But I stopped and I gave Whittle a hug. And the thing I most regret, except for not hitting Tiamat one more time in the head, because it would have been a big, big hit, because maybe I already planned it out ahead of time so I wouldn't do the math on the camera. I mean, with the gods watching, was that I didn't hug Melf too. I should have gone and given Melf a hug because it was nice of him to try and save me, even though it was my choice, even though I'm still hoping people will come find me. So after I was gone, everybody went crazy and did big hits again. And the stuff I remember is not a lot. It was a lot of things happening, but Bela, so Tiamat was really hurting, and Penelope was like, "I'll hold your hand till the end." And I was like, "No, shit, let me watch this part." And then she was being her friend, but then Bela hit her with the Wand of Orcus, and with the was that power word kill, or was that thing power word kill, which did work last time, but it turned into a Dracolich. And this time it worked, and Tiamat died. And everybody was safe, and Bela was very proud of himself. But I also noticed when they cheered, they said 15 people. So I don't think they noticed I'm gone yet. That's what happened.
Yay!
Come and save me, guys. I don't want to live in the spooky castle.
It's true.
I do want to read something from the chat real quick. This was a bit ago, but the Lurking Writer said, "Shout out to everyone behind the scenes who helped bring this entire project to fruition. Absolute This all was freaking amazing, and I know I'm a part of the company that put this on, but I still can't believe all of that happened." Yeah,
it was a lot. It was a lot, and a lot of planning went into it. Like a lot.
And well done on the spot on the moment Avalar recap.
Yes.
I apologize
Excellent.
to everybody who's super cool level 20 moves I forgot about, because if I had realized I was going to do this, I would have rewatched the VOD and taken notes.
To your credit, she wasn't there.
That's true.
Yeah. Although we did get our first peek at her twin sister, though.
Yeah,
That is true. There's an epilogue.
that was cool.
This is me for ages saying I can't roleplay Farida, and B Dave going, "Of course you can. What are you talking about?" And so then this opportunity came up, and I was like, "Okay, let's see if I can."
That is also true. She always was like, I can. I'm like, you really can. And she's like, no, I can't. I'm like, you really can. And then I was like, now you should.
You're like,
Right.
what if I just made a really good motivation?
I actually do have a question for B-Dave that I saw in the chat during the episode that I think a lot of people have asked, though, is were you using the aspect of Tiamat stats, or did you roll your own?
I used the original CR30 Tiamat. The only thing I had planned was if she dropped sooner, she was going to get back up as the aspect, because the aspect has the second phase. So in the last end of the fight, she did use the hurl through Avernus thing.
I forgot that part.
Yeah, that was how she got rid of the other. But otherwise, it was the CR30 Tiamat by the book. Because the aspect has some interesting things to it, but I don't like the like multi-chromatic damage. I like each individual head being like, no, screw you in particular, poison breath, blah, you know. Which is that was why I had her light everybody up with her cold breath and not her fire breath, because I was like, they're ready for fire, they're not ready for this.
Yep.
She's like, it's like, you haven't even earned the fire breath, blah, die. Yeah. Now she laid out 6 or 7 of the 10 of them with that
yeah it was a good one
breath. Yeah. And then the doing the different heads, rolling for the different heads that came up with on the fly, because I was like, I can't keep track of where all you are, so let's let fate decide who's going to be in the way of this.
I like that.
Yeah,
Not just because I made every one of those rolls, but I thought it was clever.
It's those, even when you save, it starts adding up quick.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
like 45 to 90 damage a pop, no matter how strong you are. You can only take so many of those. And you see the panic go through people's eyes when they realize they can only take so many of those.
I say, oh.
Okay, so we do need to switch over to the Tarrasque now, because we got to talk about that. But yeah, if you have, I'm gonna give you a thumbs up now. If you're watching and muted, you're good. If you haven't watched it on VOD, I highly recommend it. It was a fantastic show.
So the Tarrasque is still involved in this indirectly, but this is how I became the keeper of the Tarrasque. In 2018, I did a live show at D&D Live where Mark Meir played, and Baloth got the Tarrasque to put in the Black Pit. At my table is when this happened. And so he's like, so I've got the Tarrasque now. And I'm like, canonically, we said it on the internet. Yes, Baloth has the Tarrasque. So it's come up multiple times that Baloth has the Tarrasque in the Black Pits. Then on Heroes of the Plains recently, when we were fighting Asmodeus, Whittle, the same Whittle who was there, used a scroll of Tarrasque summoning to drop the Tarrasque on Asmodeus, but freely hit it with Charm Monster. So, you know, I have a big old Tarrasque fan. Big old boy. So the Tarrasque was there to fight Asmodeus with us.
Nice.
But then got imprisoned afterwards, because we were like, we should give it back. We should take it back to the Black Pit. But then we were like, wait, but does it want to go back to the Black Pit? Like, is this wrong? And so here in the Trials of Mount Tiamat, they tried to deploy the Tarrasque again in this fight against Tiamat. And I was like, well, Alindra technically has it in a crystal. And also, I don't want to manage the Tarrasque. So
there.
But I mean, that would be a pretty epic let them fight moment.
Are we allowed to talk about why we're doing the Tarrasque as a topic?
I think we can leave as a little bit of a surprise. But we'll tell you.
long time
there's a
reason.
reason.
The show know what's up.
Yeah, there's a reason.
It might not be in the crystal anymore. I'm just saying.
Yep, maybe.
Done. You know, I mean, it is a fundamental elemental creature. You know what I mean?
That's
like, you can't.
Or maybe we just found out there's 2 of them.
Stink Whip in the chat says, I choose you,
There's
Tarrasque.
not.
You know, but you know what's funny is I did a one shot with Chris Perkins where the Tarrasque was attacking a city, and they found out that the people had its baby inside. And so they had to like turn the little baby Tarrasque loose, and that was how it got it to stop attacking the city. And Perkins was like, I thought there was only one of those, and I was like, they come from somewhere.
Yeah.
Now they reproduce. And then Patrick Rothfuss played a teenage Tarrasque.
Oh yeah.
At our D&D celebration. So apparently Thanks to me, the Tarrasque has a reproductive life cycle.
Also during Dinner for Dragons that Lauren ran for us during Extra Life, Todd Kenrick played a Tarrasque born.
The Tarrasque born
who just ate all the things. So what's some lore behind the Tarrasque? Like, do we know where it came from?
Well, so in a meta sense, the Tarrasque actually comes from mythology. The Tarrasque is a monster that is from, I think, in Provence, France, in medieval times. In this case, it is sort of a dragon fish lion creature that eats people.
Sentence.
Yep. The things it has in common with the D&D Tarrasque are it has an incredibly hard shell that you can't pierce, and it eats people. However, the French Tarrasque is defeated when Saint Martha sprinkles holy water on it and ties it.
Ennui because he is French.
She ties her girdle around its neck and leads it to the villagers who throw rocks at it till it dies. So it has a invulnerable carapace, but I guess it's got some weak points.
Girdles.
It's and so this is a in the town of Tarrasque, they use it as a sort of a herald, in heraldry. There's Tarrasque floats and things and parades and stuff.
I love that.
But it does look very different. You should Google it. It looks like a turtle lion.
French This is the
I mean,
second week
versus
that we're
looking
bringing
like
up
a
French.
looking like a Godzilla murder cricket, like the other Tarrasque does.
Oh my lord,
Yeah.
that is something.
Well, now I
Oh,
have
there's
to
a
look.
sand sculpture of it. Oh, that's nice.
I was typing in French Tarrasque and then it went for French tarragon.
Okay.
I'm like, no.
Technically, the
Also, somebody-
Tarrasque is spelled with one R in the mythology, the French mythology
Yeah.
one.
Also, somebody took the D&D Tarrasque and this weird looking thing and put them together, and it actually looks pretty cool, and I would use that in the game.
Yeah, it's like a six-legged land turtle monster.
Yeah.
I love all the sort of the iconography of Saint Martha confronting it. In the story, it was in the middle of eating someone, so every time you see it, it's got these two legs hanging out of its mouth. So you know,
Jesus.
That's how you know. Yeah.
it's pretty fun. So that's the original Tarrasque. The D&D Tarrasque is a lot bigger. It is like a lot bigger. It's
Godzilla
very
cricket.
large. It's
Godzilla
a Godzilla
cricket.
cricket.
Yeah. Yeah, no, go on.
We'll say it slumbers within the center of the prime material, and when it wakes up, it wreaks havoc and destruction.
It's back in the day, the Tarrasque was the worst thing. Like it was the top monster. Every time you shot it with something, that carapace we referred to was reflective, so there was a chance it would just bounce off or bounce back at you. And when
He was rubber, you were glue.
Literally, it regenerated every round, and so when it finally was defeated, it would get back up again, and nothing short of a wish spell could stop it. And recall, as those who we've talked before, back in the day, one, wish was very difficult to come by.
Oh yeah.
And two was also the Twilight Zone monkey paw wish. So if you worded it wrong, it still didn't necessarily solve your problem. So it really was nearly unbeatable. And if you managed to beat it, it was just going to come back. So it was not just a group ender, it was a campaign ender. Although my favorite bit of Tarrasque lore is the height, arguably depth of 3.5 times. You had something that was called, oh, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, you have introduced us to this before.
I
It's so
have.
good.
There was you could put templates on creatures, so you could change them a little bit.
Yeah.
And there was a Tarrasque that had 17 templates applied to it. So it is a shadow, anarchic, phrenic beast of Zim, draconic, half troll, winged, insectile, spell warped, half pyroclastic dragon, half earth elemental, pseudo natural, half fiend, monster of legacy, god blooded, paragon, multi headed Tarrasque.
Good.
Which
it sounds
yeah.
like the like it's the scene from The Fly, but it's a Tarrasque.
basically, yeah, you were like, it's
That
worse.
is wild.
That's what it is. You're like, it's worse.
Creature.
Yeah, right. This is how out of hand 3.5 got. You could probably beat that too. That's why you were just like,
9,309 hit points on average. Oh my god.
Yep.
And it's psionic.
With
It's
an
a
AC
colossal outsider psionic.
with an AC of 132. Yep. The full attack was 30 bites. 30 bites, 31 horns, 2 claws, and a tail slap.
Had a fort save of
strength is
118.
Yep.
Its strength is 122.
On a scale of 20, y'all. Yeah.
And its
So-
intelligence is 28. I feel bad
It's a-
for this thing that it's smart enough to have to contemplate its existence.
It's a thinking person's Tarrasque. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
My favorite part of this stat block: level adjustment. No, just no.
Yeah.
It is.
Don't
I
even,
gotta
yeah.
stop looking at that. I gotta stop
Absolutely
looking at that.
Yeah, no, Google it, friends. Google the
Yeah.
ultimate Tarrasque. It was a thing. Like I said, this was as good and simultaneously as bad as 3.5 got, because that is technically legal.
Yep.
Technically.
Yep. Oh god.
Mhm.
Um, So
Bananas.
So I go back to my original question though.
Mhm.
Do we, is there any lore written as to where the Tarrasque came from, or is it just this ever existing being?
I think this is one of those things that gets touched on periodically with people's sort of theories within the world about where does
Yep.
the Tarrasque come
Mhm.
from. There
Yep.
is nothing hard and fast and nailed down, which is kind of a feat because I feel like every time something like that exists, somebody at some point nails it down.
Yep.
And so the theories are it could be anything from it's always been here to
A wizard did it.
a wizard did it, exactly.
Mhm.
The primordials made it during the Dawn War as a weapon,
Mhm.
and just decided only to make one for a reason.
That there's a whole planet full of them somewhere.
And this one got
That's-
sent.
That's
Mhm.
terrifying.
Yep.
That plane, they're actually just like puppy dogs to the inhabitants of that place.
It's like
Exactly.
it's like Superman, but Toral's son makes it just like sleepy and then angry.
It's simultaneously sleepy to angy. Yep.
Okay, so there's myths and legends. I do like when there's stuff like that because it's very open-ended for DMs to do whatever they want with that sort of
Mhm.
thing, if they even want to do something like that. It would be interesting of there to be a campaign where it's like it's a bunch of archaeologists who are just obsessed with trying to figure out where the Tarrasque came from.
Yeah, I
Mm.
think it is usually portrayed again as just a fundamental force of nature.
Yeah.
Just it's like a forest fire or a hurricane because it's
Yeah.
not evil. It's actually neutral. Like
Yeah.
it has no opinion on what it's here to do to you. You know,
Like-
The lineman is sleepy and hungry.
Like I've
it's
seen
a giant toddler, a giant Godzilla cricket toddler.
yeah, well, Godzilla. A lot of people in chat have been saying like it's just D&D Godzilla, and like sort of. I mean, it depends on which Godzilla movie you're talking about. But yeah, like, but I think the Tarrasque is actually smaller than Godzilla.
Well, I mean, it gets weird. It's huge. I mean, it attacks cities.
Yeah.
So
Well, because
no, it's gargantuan. Sorry, it's gargantuan. It's as big as it gets.
yeah,
you know?
there's because the image in
It's 50 feet tall and 70 feet long.
yeah.
So let's see Godzilla height.
Oh, that
here.
you're gonna get so many different numbers.
Well, I'm like Godzilla height 1984 is when I'm.
Specific year.
Let's see. There, you're right. There's a number of sizes across time. Let's see here. Mostly. Oh, I got what I want.
Yeah, the
here.
Godzilla from the
wh-
most recent, I think, is one of the
from-
bigger ones.
from when I was growing up, Godzilla was Oh, even when I was even in the 60s, Godzilla was 150 feet.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Godzilla was
Does it-
always much bigger.
So here's a question though. Godzilla traditionally is bipedal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the Tarrasque stood up on its back legs, would it be
Oh.
the size
You know,
of
just
Godzilla?
like it extended all the way up. Like if it like stretched out its posture, maybe. But I mean, I also think this is one of those things that yes, it was definitely meant to be D&D Godzilla, and the game didn't really account for something 150 feet tall.
Mhm.
That's fair.
Because gargantuan is the biggest size category. You
Mhm.
know,
They
Yeah,
used to
like-
have colossal.
that's true. Colossal used to be a thing.
Yeah.
I don't think 5e has colossal.
No,
don't
and there
think so.
and there's plenty of arguments online about that.
Yeah.
Just gargantuan just keeps on going.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
freaky big.
Yeah. Are there any fixed points in the lore that the Tarrasque woke up?
Yes.
So there's a couple. They are
Oh no, sorry. I just saw a picture that put the Tarrasque in Monster Hunter, and now I have to click away.
so there's a story that's in the Grand History of the Realms about a Tarrasque that was worshipped by. Okay, that's actually quite confusing. It says the ancient Tabaxi tribe of humans, but that's
What?
That's
very.
That's not
I
a
don't know
thing.
how to parse that sentence.
That's a bad
Um,
sentence.
Either somebody reused a name, or there's a story about where Tabaxi come from that I'm unfamiliar
Cat
with.
Lord.
Oh, so it is someone reused a name. It is
Hmm.
someone reused a name. So this was a tribe in very, very ancient Chult.
Someone said, "Lol, the tribe name is human."
I like the idea that they're Tabaxi who just have a tribe name that's like human.
Human.
It's probably something a little
The-
more elaborate, like humans standing on the hill.
Frickin' cultural appropriation is what that is. Like, can't the cat people have something? Can't they have something? Mm.
So the legend is that she led them into battle in negative 34,800 DR. And then she was defeated. The Trask in this is female. And
Ironically enough,
rage.
she's always female in my games too, because of Jurassic Park. All the dinosaurs are
go.
girls.
Oh,
That's why
I
it's
love
in my
that.
head. She's a girl. Yep.
and then she woke up in negative 2,809 DR and was defeated by was slain actually in this case by someone in the tribe who was blessed by Obtao. There's
Boo.
also one where
Sounds made up.
it does kind of. This sounds like a legend. It sounds like a legend. Like there was a Tarrasque, it rampaged, it went back to sleep. Everybody went, pretty sure we beat that. That's how I would sort of parse that. The other thing that comes up is there's towards the end of Netheril. This is from a comic series, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, this is something else. I don't actually know what this one is. But there's a it's an adventure module. Okay, so in Trask, and Karsus wants to cast Karsus's avatar, the thing that makes him turn into a god and destroys all of Netheril, because Mistra finally goes, nope, that's the line. It turns out one of the components for Karsus's avatar is the pituitary gland of a Trask. So he sends off some adventurers.
Seems like an awful big waste of Tarrasque.
I know, right?
Yeah. Also, the pituitary gland. You got to go through Tarrasque puberty. I mean,
So they basically like put something on it so it won't wake up, cut out its pituitary gland, I guess, and then it hasn't woken up since, which seems fine. And then there's another point in 1357 DR in a series of Forgotten Realms comics from 1990. Someone does summon a Tarrasque. And a ritual that required the heads of 7 adult dragons to complete was used to that was what was used to summon it.
That's pretty metal.
right.
And
That is pretty metal.
then some heroes defeated it. So
As
those
they
are
are
the
wont to do.
things
Yep.
listed.
That's
That's That's the next story I got to tell with the Tarrasque is a genuine menace. I mean, I've had it in plenty of one shots, especially for charity. Dare I say, you might see it this Saturday in the charity game I'm running, dear friends. But we're like, we really got to figure out what to do with this thing. Is it just like rolls in on occasion? And again, it's like a weather system. It rolls in, it destroys everything and leaves.
Yeah, I mean, really doing a campaign similar to like a Godzilla movie where it's like it is approaching, it's coming from the ocean. We need to figure out how to stop it. That'd be a pretty cool one.
So I went on a bit of a tear on the Dungeon Scrawlers Discord because Eric threatened to throw a Tarrasque at us, and I was like, what is the lure of the Tarrasque? What is like fun about encountering the Tarrasque? And so I'm curious what your answers are, because like I'm not here for it's the toughest monster, and if you beat it, then you beat the toughest monster. That doesn't actually ring my bell. So
I'm staring at you in Tiamat. So yeah.
I
right, because it's not even the toughest monster.
Yeah.
So
I think for me though, it goes back, and I think I've said it on the show before, but like one of the reasons I love using the D&D lore in my games is because it's something that a lot of people have a knowledge of. Everyone that has played D&D for a little while knows the name of the Tarrasque. They've heard of the Tarrasque. And so if I have it in there and my party does something that like stops it, slows it, or defeats it, they have that story now. Like they get to go to other D&D players and be like, I fought the Tarrasque and survived. And that's like a big deal.
interesting.
It's climbing Everest.
Yeah.
So it is like beat the toughest monster. Kind of.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because otherwise, beyond that, there's nothing, particularly unique about it. It is very big. It is very strong. It can swallow you.
Really hard to beat. I think
it's really hard to beat. Yeah, that's it.
the thing that I eventually came around to is that it does feel like, I mean, if you're all level 20 and you're just, this is like to show off your cool like end game kind of powers. Okay. But it is really tough. It has a lot of ways to resist any damage you throw at it. So then if you're going to stop it or defeat it, you can't just go wail on the HP bag. Like you have to think of something clever to work around it. And that I find appealing because I like those.
If I ran the Tarrasque and if I did that campaign that I hypothesized there, it probably would not end with a no holds bar fight. And knowing the people I play with, it would probably turn into a matchmake game where they try to find someone to fall in love with the Tarrasque. Yeah, you've met St. James. You know St. James would be like, well, we can't kill it. We're gonna find it a mate so they live happily ever after.
I mean, hey, that's again that little baby Tarrasque came from somewhere.
You just gotta get it sleepy. So,
I mean, it is. Well, this is. I've experienced both. I've experienced just pure blunt force trauma, and again, it is quite a fearsome opponent, even when you're level 20. It can do a lot. But I mean, it is not your big advantage is it's unintelligent, which is neither here nor there, and it's not evil. So like anything, I've had people that like, well, let's appeal to it, like you try and appeal to any animal, with like food or distraction or something. And usually when people tried that stuff, I went with it. Yeah. It's about as smart as a German Shepherd, So
I love that. I'm actually.
You can have that means you could have a drug sniffing Tarrasque.
What?
Think about it. I mean, you just roll up on Neverwinter and you're like, it's in there. Boom. Boom.
Neverember halfway transformed into a tree, and no, I swear I was just holding it.
Yeah, I had no idea that a number of my lands and holdings were drug fronts. Who'd have thought? We all know Neverember's neck deep in the drug trade.
Yeah,
100%.
One of the things that I always do with my games, because I made sure to check, so I was sure. Yeah, the AC of a Tarrasque in 5th edition is 25, and so anytime someone's just like, does a 26 hit? I'm just like, it hits a Tarrasque, so it freaking better. Yeah. But we're getting.
Oh my god, it's immune to like everything.
All the things.
Yeah, no, it's rough. Yeah, it's rough. Also, guess who else is immune to a lot? Our Lady Tiamat.
Our Lady.
Yeah.
I appreciate.
Not my lady.
I mean, she offered repeatedly. That's all right. You'll have some fun with the Raven Queen. Havelar to win.
We're getting towards the part where turn it over to viewers to ask some questions. But any last things that you all want to touch on the Tarrasque?
There's a little detail at the bottom here that's legends had it that one could yield a vast number of gems from a Tarrasque upper carapace by treating it with acid and then heating it in a furnace.
That's cool.
Here's I mean, now I'm theory crafting because again, I'm very pro Tiamat of who would win, and I still think Tiamat could take this thing simply because it is immune to fire and poison. It is not immune to cold, lightning, or acid, and so I think she would just work it.
I feel like the terrifying reality is like Tiamat faces off against the Tarrasque and she's like, here, boy, here.
Right.
She gives it treats. And now she's like, guess what I got?
Yeah, she's like, who wants tummy scratches? Who wants tummy scratches? Yeah, now we're friends.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think, she just transformed into the Dark Lady. It's just like, who's a good boy? Give him
Who's
little
a good
chin
boy?
scratches.
I'm just saying, has anybody tried tummy scratches on the Tarrasque? The answer is yes. Freely did, and it worked. So just putting that out there.
I love it. All right, let's see what chat's been up to. We're gonna start with some ICP questions because a lot of those were coming in. Let's see. This is Baron Ugly. I feel like you can be nicer in your usernames.
Yeah,
yourself.
stop that.
You're good. How many hit points did Tiamat actually have left?
So here's the thing: when 100% by the stat block, they had exhausted all of her hit points at about 6:15 going into the third hour. So right around the time I mentioned the hurl through Avernus, that was her shifting into the second phase. But if she went into the second phase, when she died, she still had like 250 hit points left for that second batch of hit points. That's why I had her say I could have kept fighting. Yeah. Because she could have. Yeah.
Not if I'd hit her one more time.
That's it. Just Havelar returns from the Shadowfell.
Action surge haste. Great weapon fighter. Precision dice. Whomped her.
Let me tell you something, just for the record, Erin. I know that very unique feel that you're like, I went Nova. There was one more hit I could have done in there. I went through the exact same thing with Freely Fighting Loki. The same thing. Like I dropped everything on that dude, and then was like, I did the same thing with Asmodeus. Yeah, I was like, I had one more thing. It wouldn't have won, but I'm all like,
I got out swinging.
We just got
out swinging anyway.
It's like instead of 175 points of damage, it should have been 212. Yeah, right. I get it.
A question just popped in from Giant Dwarf. What is that winged beast behind Treavor? I guess you were here at the beginning. It's Tiamat.
That's her.
Also, baby Tiamat.
It's a baby Tiamat.
It's a baby Tiamat.
That's Tiamat and the Dark Lady. Actually, that's how Tiamat is, and that's how Tiamat represents herself. Like, come on, I'm okay.
That's her Twitter avatar.
Yeah, her Twitter, exactly.
And also me. I'm gonna butcher this name. I feel like it's your character's name. If it's your real name, I'm really sorry. Garion Delach. Trials of Mount Tiamat was just a vehicle to turn everyone into a Havelar fan, to make it personal, to ensure Farida can send a whole army of heroes to split the Raven Queen's domain between Whittle and Strix.
Why are you free to do that for those guys?
What manner of monster would have used this as a device and as a vehicle to set up the next one?
Dylan in the chat. I mean, it wasn't not that.
It wasn't not that.
Lurking Rider says, question, are there audio versions of the Brimstone Angel saga? And if not, can Erin please record all of Havelar's lines with that wonderful voice?
They're available on Audible. The narrator is a really talented voice actor, Dina Perlman. I hear great things. I can't listen to them because for some reason it makes me really embarrassed. but they sound good.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are available. The physical copies are harder to find as WotC
I
is shifted
may
away
or may
from
not
books.
have gone into my local Barnes and Noble and see if they had one hiding in a warehouse somewhere.
If they did, someone got on eBay and sold it for a couple $100.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but you can get them in the ebook and you get them on Audible.
Yeah. Let's see. Cassie's 335 question: has anyone statted the boombox of Orcus yet? No, but that might be a weekend activity for me now. There'll be a bonus episode of Champions of Lore. It's just us statting out a magic item.
So someone did ask me, it was like, somebody else did ask, how did the Raven Queen have the Wand of Orcus? And I was like, either she would just be like, give it to me, and he would, or she would just take it. And what's he gonna do? Nothing. She's the Raven Queen. Just be like, yeah.
We all know that he left it on the nightstand and she's not telling anybody that.
Also possible. Also possible.
No, I think you're right that she's like, what is this? No.
Yeah. It's mine now. Stop it.
Yeah. The real Bunny Bee said, I'd just like to say that when Group 3 was revealed, I legit got Avengers Endgame portals opening chills. Well done.
Yay.
So good. So good.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
With Sailor Moon transformations.
Yes. Stink Whip says, does this mean we'll be getting Farida recaps in the future?
I don't think that's so the thing that doesn't work with that in my head is that Farida is actually really shy.
Yeah.
I can't she has to kind of be pushed over the edge to be like throw herself in the front. I just don't see it happening. So I feel like Havilar would have to do the recap for Farida, which would involve a lot of editorializing on what Farida thought was important to convey. So that will be entertaining, maybe, if that's what we do.
I will just say, this is what happens when your characters come to life. When you're like, she wouldn't, her sister would, she wouldn't. Yeah.
I did just see someone in the chat say that they're new around here and who actually is the Raven Queen. I don't know. I actually don't think we've done an episode about, but we probably will sometime next year.
We might have a purpose for it.
Yes. Oh, actually, I think there was an episode that we talked about Shatterkai and we touched on the Raven Queen. So go back to the episodes.
I think we also talked about the Shadowfell, didn't we?
Yeah.
At the very least, when we talked about Netherrealm, we discussed Shadowfell and Plane of Shadows.
Cassius 335 comes back and says, question, is Erin going to play Mehen as well, or will someone else do that?
So here's the spoiler, guys, just for you. Court of the Raven Queen is just me playing a bunch of different people and B-Dave. That's it.
It's the two of us. That's it.
That's it.
But there's still a full ensemble cast, but just the two of us. Yeah.
But it's all Havilar as playing those characters.
Just sit freely and Havilar talking about what it would be, you know? Like, okay, so you come into this room and it's like really spooky, right? And
oh my God.
There's like ghosts everywhere.
And there's like spiders.
Havilar and freely playing
spiders.
D&D would be amazing.
Right. Okay, ghost spiders. Roll initiative. Initiative? Initiative. Roll it. Yeah. I'm not a reader.
That legit almost killed me.
I love it.
Yo, the hashtag layers.
And I will say, Cassius, to actually answer your question, TBD. Stinkweb comes back and says, didn't someone make a build that could defeat a Tarrasque with a level 1 wizard?
What?
I have not heard about that.
Oh yeah, it's well, Pun you could do it level 1. And Pun could beat the Tarrasque. Pun could do anything. Yeah, so also just as an aside, I pulled off that build, by the way. I literally won 3.5. I had an unbeatable, unkillable character. And I know this is going to come off as a shock. Not as exciting as you might think.
Yeah.
Which you're like, hey, I can do literally anything and nothing can hurt me. So
yeah.
There were no more worlds left to conquer.
I pulled it off with a druid planar shepherd that was a saint with the vow of peace, poverty, and nonviolence. And it was unbeatable. Yep.
Unbeatable. Let's see. The Lurking Writer says, question, in our reality, who created / invented the Tarrasque, and how long has it been a part of D&D? What's
Oh,
That's a
from the
wonderful
beginning.
question.
Yeah,
What-
it
Yes.
goes, the Tarrasque goes back to first edition. I
Oh,
think.
really?
I mean, no, it legit is D&D Godzilla.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it is, you know?
Yeah, it's back in the first edition. The Monster Manual 2, it says, is I think
Monster Manual
the first
2.
place it posts up. You know what I didn't look at is the art
Oh,
cycle.
It has changed. It's,
It did used to be bipedal, guys.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
gotta
it's still.
see
I mean,
this.
it's always. I mean, it
first-
is bipedal.
You're
It just
right. You
Sort
know
of
what?
like, it's like a Tyrannosaurus.
Oh
Yeah.
my
But
precious
look at
God.
the first edition Tarrasque is a little bit less. I mean, it's still got a cricket, but there's some like goblin frog thrown in there.
Yeah.
I just love his little
Yeah.
hands up
It's
here
like,
like this. He's just like,
No.
you caught me.
No, it looks like it was wearing socks and just stepped in a puddle. And it is like,
It does.
Yeah, imagine that being like the greatest scourge in the game. By the way,
The second edition one looks both smarter and more agile, and I just
Yeah.
like that. It also
Yeah,
seems like it has hair on it.
it looks untrustworthy. The second one does. It is just like those kids are on my lawn again. Is what
Yeah.
the second edition turned like. I got to go and eat those. I'm gonna go eat those guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
third edition looks very similar, and then fourth edition, good. That's very
Fourth is-
Godzilla-ish
It's
looking.
very Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. What other questions do I have?
Fifth edition looks like third edition Tarrasque hit the gym.
Yeah. No, he's got those gains. Like he's on a low carb. He's on keto. It's a keto Tarrasque now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
This is from Crucifix Kale. Have you guys seen the very elaborate campaign setting of a city built around the corpse of a Tarrasque?
No.
No, that sounds cool as hell.
That is gonna go.
Yeah.
But again, it's only 70 feet long. You know what I mean? So I'm all
well,
like,
I mean,
yeah, right.
it might be a homebrew setting where it was
True.
massive. Boy.
It's a Tarrasque that
'cause-
accidentally ate a potion of enlargement.
I
Like
mean,
a really big potion of enlargement.
I've definitely a cask of enlargement. I've definitely seen
cask
it.
of
This guy's like, check out my new swimming pool. I filled it full of potion of enlargement.
And then
It's gonna be great. The Tarrasque goes, but
Well,
he's like, oh
Yep,
no.
like a thirsty,
Aaron,
like a thirsty Rottweiler. Yeah.
Aaron, you and I know it works on a purple worm, so why not a
True.
Tarrasque?
Yeah. Well, I've definitely seen fan art of the Tarrasque that was like full Godzilla scale because
Mhm.
you know you read 50 feet, but in your head it's 200 feet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That it's just the bust into the wall type thing. So
Yeah. But let me see. Okay, Cassius 335, one more time. Question: if Godzilla turns up in D&D, who has he turned up to fight? Because it's probably not the party. I mean,
again, it's a force of nature. Like I
Yeah.
mean, it's there to eat who's around.
But so, like in some Godzilla movies, right? You wake up another kaiju to fight Godzilla.
yeah.
Who's Mothra?
But
Like-
Godzilla's the king of the monsters. That's the thing.
Oh.
Godzilla wins.
I do
you
love
know?
the idea of like Earth Godzilla getting teleported to Faerun and seeing Tiamat and go, "Hey, you only had 3 heads, and weren't you gold?"
Yeah, like King Ghidra. Yeah, right, exactly.
So that would
Yeah.
that'd be a fight.
The Ghidra triplets.
Yeah. But I think that is where we're gonna put a stop on the questions for today, because we got to get out of here, give a Bardic Inspiration listening party some time to prep. Friends, where can people find you? What awesome things you working on?
You can find me on Twitter at Erin M. Evans. You can listen to me with these guys on our podcast, Writing About Dragons and Shit, which a new episode I think comes out today.
Yeah, already up. Went up this
I
morning.
sure hope
Oh,
so.
hey, yay!
Yeah.
Yeah.
All tangents.
All
And you
tangents.
can
Oops, all
watch
tangents.
me on twitch.tv/Dungeon Scrawlers tonight at 6:30 for our actual play show set in the Forgotten Realms.
You didn't actually say that it was Dungeon Scrawlers.
Dungeon Scrawlers. I said it in the address. I forgot to say
That
the
was
name.
forever ago.
Yeah.
That was
Dungeon Scrawlers, Dungeon Scrawlers, Dungeon Scrawlers. There you go.
you know, that's the new intro, by the way. It's just that there.
I'll tell everybody. I'm
Just-
sure they'll be
just
very excited.
Just loop that for about 12 seconds and then the show starts. know. B. Dave Walters. Normally, I would say, where can't you find me? But actually, I got some stuff is winding down. Trials of Mount Tiamat just wrapped. Heroes of the Plains wraps next week. Black Dice Society is on hiatus, but you can catch me Friday on G4 for Invitation to Party at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. And then this Saturday, we're going to be doing another World Builders charity game at noon Eastern, which I assume some sort of announcement about that should go out soon, because it'd be great if people, I don't know, watched it and stuff. So, yeah, be raising some money to help some people.
Heck yeah. You can find me on Way Too Many Podcasts, which you can find on my Twitter account at the Treavor. There is an A hiding in there. From the Same Mystery is still going on. There's 2 episodes left of the season, and who knows when we're going to do another one. It's not like we're finding siblings all the time. We absolutely are. If you missed any part of this show, you can catch it later as a podcast on your favorite podcast services. Eventually, I have to take lunch and do some work, but it will be up today at some point. And if you have any suggestions for future topics that you'd like us to talk about that has to do with Idle Champions and D&D, you can send those into Champions of Lore at codenameentertainment.com. Thank you to Jay and Mars for moderating in the chat and doing a fantastic job as always, and Codename Entertainment for letting us talk about some D&D. We got a whole day of streaming going on. Like I said, there's a special episode of Bardic Inspiration immediately after this where they're going to be doing a listening party of Bardic Inspiration Volume 2. So be sure to stick around for that and hear some amazing music.
Nobody clarified whether or not the Freely song was on Volume 2. I'm just saying, I feel like
we're gonna have to find out.
He's done a lot. He's done a lot for all the planes.
I will tell you this: none of y'all are ready for that album art. Just, I'm putting that out there right now. None of you are ready.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, so stick around for that and all the other awesome streams